Good evening and welcome to Legal Tech Live episode 54.
54.
That's it.
Ivan Rakelin and
Nick Rishwain. And we've got our guest here tonight. Our guest is Travis Luther. Travis is the founder of Luther Media LLC, whose companies include, this is the full entrepreneurial journey here. His companies include Law Father, Valet Ads, Queen Anne Pillow Company, and TrialLine. And he's here tonight to discuss TrialLine with us. Travis.
Wait, before we go into that, pillow.
Yeah.
Hold on.
That guy, the pillow company guy? Did he buy you out? Or
No.
Different pillow guy, I think.
Different pillow guy, yeah. But starting the second week of July, we'll start running infomercials, so you may see me on TV there, too.
Excellent.
Ooh. I won't tell the pillow guy that you're launching it. I saw him Tuesday.
All right, Ivan, hold that thought. Travis is the current entrepreneur. And you'll have to correct me if this is still current, Travis, but this is from your travisluther.com site. Current entrepreneur in residence for the University of Colorado, Denver, and a former adjunct professor of entrepreneurship at Metropolitan State University's College of Business. He's also a member of the Entrepreneurs Organization and the director for EO Colorado's Global Student Entrepreneurship Awards. There is quite a history of entrepreneurship here for Travis Luther. Travis, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks.
There's probably a lot of stuff that we missed there. Can you share any more about your experience before and the experience that led up to your background and the experience that led up to TrialLine?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years, not even counting, elementary school and paper routes and, things of that nature. Yeah, I had a 10-year run at entrepreneurship back in Washington State where I lived and grew up. About 2004, I decided I wanted to try something new. I hadn't been very successful in entrepreneurship, to be honest, and a really good buddy of mine had moved out to Denver, Colorado to get his PhD, and he just suggested, he said, I know you're thinking about doing a lot of things and trying a lot of new things. Why don't you come to Denver, move in with me, and just kind of figure out what you want to do in this next chapter of your life. And so I took him up on that offer. And I went back to college. I had dropped out of college 10 years before to have my music career and my entrepreneurship career. And so I decided I was going to go back to school. Went back to school, started working as a valet at night while I was finishing my undergrad. And one night I met this lawyer and got to talking to her. I was doing some web marketing stuff myself, learning graphic design, and most importantly, trying to learn a bit about online marketing and search engine optimization, which was, all the rage then. And her and I started dating, and she started referring other lawyers to me who would post stuff on a listserv saying, hey, I'm looking for somebody to build a website, or I'm looking for someone to do some graphic design for a brochure. And she just would start forwarding those emails to me, asking if I could help. And within 6 months of her sending those leads my way, I really realized I was onto something. There seemed to be a hole in technology as it related just to attorneys. And every time I was able to solve a problem, I was getting another referral or two. And so I told this guy who was working with me, I said, let's make a little side company. And we'll just call it Law Father because I love the Godfather movie. And let's just act like all we do is address the web and technology needs of attorneys. And he's like, okay, whatever. And I really never expected that to become a feasible business. And I certainly never thought that would become a career. And, that was over 12 years ago now. And so that was my foray into legal. I ended up marrying that woman. She's had all of the great ideas about all of my business.
Congrats.
Yeah.
She continues to practice plaintiff's personal injury law here. And then really eventually became the inspiration to TrialLine, which, as Nick said, is what we're going to talk about today. But LawFather grew out of being a web development and online marketing company to a web development, online marketing, and video production company. So we started doing videotaping depositions. We also started doing promotional videos for lawyers that they would put online. And then we started doing these products called day in the life videos and video settlement brochures, which are just used, they're video documentaries used to help settle a trial before, settle a case before it goes to trial. So we would go out and collect evidence and interviews of parties involved and lay medical documentation on top of that, and then give defense counsel or the insurance company a video explaining all of the facets of a personal injury case and hopefully motivating them to settle once they have all of the facts and information there. And then from that, we started getting asked, hey, can you come to trial with us and play those videos? Can I rent equipment from you to go to trial? And so, you know, we developed this trial technology business, or trial support business, as we refer to it here. And we rent lawyers television screens or monitors or projectors or audio equipment. And then we consult with them on how to put their openings and closings together and what kind of media to run during trial and how to display exhibits and demonstratives. And then we sit in trial and run all of that for them. So, you know, by the time we had hit 10 years, our promise, the company promise was, we'll help you get clients from the internet. We'll help you try and settle those cases. And if those cases don't settle, we'll help you go to trial and help you tell your stories better to the jury. So, yeah.
Excellent. And then I'm assuming that business was, you were looking for a solution to make this easier. I feel like that was.
Totally. Yeah. So what happened was, as part of that trial support business, we were always making timelines over and over again, whether they were just to be used in mediation or to help the attorney understand the case, or to make graphic designs to put on poster boards in trial to show the jurors the timeline of events. It's just kind of a tedious process over and over again in a program like Illustrator or Photoshop, you know, to move all these little itty bitty bits of information and create appropriate spacing and stuff. And so really there was this day when I had like 2 or 3 of these timelines done. I was feeling a lot of pressure to get this work done. I thought there's got to be a template online. Really, it was like, hey, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to get online. I'm going to find a timeline template. I'm just going to plug this case stuff in there, and I'm just going to use it over and over again rather than having to recreate this graphic design work all the time. And there was really nothing there, and there's certainly nothing cloud-based. So because we had a background in web development, and, I just had myself and a guy just kind of pound out a quick WordPress sample online timeline program where we could create events, assign dates to them, attach a document or a picture to it, and lay it out on a linear line. And we did that in WordPress, and we did that in about, 6 hours. It was really simple. Took it home, told my wife to sit down at the kitchen table, put the laptop in front of her, and I said, what do you think of this? Just take a look at this quick little online timeline thing I made. Do you think it looks pretty? Does it make sense? And as I kind of joke, it was one of those moments where she said, oh my God, this is amazing. You've got to drop everything. You've got to pour your entire life savings into this project, and you've got to make this for attorneys. She was just so thrilled with what she was seeing there. So that's kind of really what we did, and that was 2015 when the idea kind of came to us, and we just started poking around at the code and making more and more iterations and testing it with our friends and testing with lawyers until January of 2017, when we launched a full, complete commercial version.
Excellent. I want to thank Diego Alcala, Mitch Jackson, Austin Madon for joining us. And I'm sorry if I'm missing anybody here. Just a reminder, we have TrialLine, Travis Luther with TrialLine. Travis, if I'm not looking at you, it's because I'm looking at another monitor here. Don't take it personally. Mitch says, helping make trials easier for trial lawyers and our clients is always a good thing. Mitch is a personal injury, catastrophic injury attorney in California, so he seems to be paying attention to this. So we're going to dig into.
It's been a while, Mitch. Hello.
And Diego is criminal defense down in Puerto Rico. So, and please let us know if you have any questions in the Facebook group, and we'll ask them of Travis. So you started tooling around with the code in 2015, and it sounded, from what I read on TrialLine's website, which I've posted in the group for everybody to see, is that you guys started in 2017. So you spent some time developing, it sounds like.
Yeah, we really did. I mean, like I said, it being kind of just a natural outgrowth of some stuff we were already doing. And then maybe most importantly, the fact that I was self-funding it. We didn't have a huge investor or anything. And it wasn't a client-specific program. It was just something that I remember we set aside these strategy meetings for the company and what do we want the future of Lawfather to be, and being really interested in this idea of developing a software and a scalable solution for all these attorneys, that we started just kind of budgeting 20% of the company's time towards the development of TrialLine. And so as we would have a staff meeting or a status meeting for our clients, we'd say, how's this law firm doing? How's this law firm doing? How's this law firm doing? How's TrialLine doing? And we just treated it like it was a client, and we'd go around and everybody had an accountability. But, we just, like I said, self-funded, steps and stages, and then did it with the great benefit of having a really nice user base of existing clients to really shepherd us and guide us through appropriate feature development.
Excellent. And since we have quite a few lawyers in the group watching tonight, how do we feel about, do you have demo capabilities for us while we're on the show? Because Mitch is asking, what's the most popular feature at TrialLine? I'm thinking maybe a short demo would be a good idea so that all those in the group can see.
Also, Nick, since we got a few folks in there, if they want to ask questions,
yeah, please ask questions. And let me give you, this is always my scariest time when I hand over control, right, Ivan? It's the.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's fearsome.
It's one of the scariest times for me. I'm gonna go ahead and make you a host there, Travis.
All right.
You'll have to give that back to me so we close up. But until then, let's see what you got for everybody.
All right. Let me come over here to Zoom, share with you all.
All right, here we go. You have the dramatic music. Oh, we don't need it anymore.
Da, 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 da. There you go. All right. Well, so I've logged into the account, and basically this is my admin account, so it's a little bit different than what you guys will see. But so this lists all the cases I have open, tells me when I created it and when I last saw it. Something exciting, I guess this is the first announcement, is we're almost done with our Clio API integration. So on my little demo one here, I've got a tab, and you can see I've imported some cases from Clio, but that'll
breaking news
yeah.
On LegalTechLIve.
But at any rate, I'll open up the demo one here. So this loads my TrialLine. Kind of, you saw when it loaded, depending on how many events you have on there, it loads a little bit crowded, but there's a lot of quick ways to get out of there. I like to use the wheel with the mouse, and I can just spin that mouse wheel and it'll separate them as far as I want them to separate, or bring them back in as close as they are. But we've got a couple different views here. So what we're looking at right now is what we call the relative view. And what the relative view means is that all of these events are spaced relative to the time in between the activity. Hopefully that makes some sense. So if we have a motorcycle collision over here, and over here we have a right knee surgery, but first we have an orthopedic consultation, this stuff is all spaced relative to how much time passed between. So what this does is gives you a really good visual look at how different categories of events might be stacked together, or how there may have been huge space in between a series of events. And
now, are you also able to geo-sort it, if you will? That same data?
Geo-sort it. If you're talking about location-specific stuff?
Yeah, so geotag the source data. So for example, you sorted it in a timeline based on when the event occurred. Can you also geotag it so that you can depict where each of these things happened? So in this case, maybe it may not be relevant, but in another case, you may want to have that, because it'll show you that not only the sequence of events as they occurred in timeline, but also the locations of those events.
Yeah, I haven't run into a really location heavy case like that, but it wouldn't be hard to do. In fact, we already have.
I don't know, like a hit and run, right? Was
yeah.
The sequence of it, and then there are multiple crimes that occurred post hit and run, and you're trying to essentially identify that the individual that's accused was the person in all of those events.
Well, it seems like this is directed towards plaintiff and personal injury and medical malpractice. Am I wrong on that, Travis?
This example right here is a motorcycle accident case.
Motorcycle. Okay.
Okay.
The truth is actually our two biggest user groups, and this was really unexpected, is family law and personal injury. Family law attorneys use this a lot to, let's say that you have different kinds of restraining orders or contact orders, right? And one of the other parties is violating those, and you have somebody who's trying to get custody. Then the family law attorneys will use this to lay out all of the different interactions between the two parties to show either that somebody was being compliant or somebody was being completely unreasonable. In the case of a personal injury case, yeah, there's a lot of activity that happens in a case post-accident, where the value is kind of discerned by how much medical treatment this person needs, how frequently they need it, and what the costs are. So in this case, you want to be able to show all of the different interventions, all of the different outcomes, physical therapy, things of that nature. And like I said, you can add providers and bills to with those providers, put addresses, so eventually you could geolocate. But I think as far as what you're talking about, it's probably more about criminal defense type case. We wouldn't have the ability to do that here. But then we also do a lot of patent and intellectual property stuff. So when there's any kind of dispute about who completed what activity when on a piece of technology, this is a really good layout for it. And then going back to what I was talking about as far as relative view and how this lays out events based on the space in between them, we use this a lot in trial in insurance bad faith cases. So when you have somebody who hasn't been paid by their insurance company, the insurance company is requesting all this documentation, your client sends it back, and then the insurance company just continues to deny it, delay it, or ignore it. Creating a timeline of who responded when and how quickly is really a great way to show a jury or a mediator who's again being reasonable or unreasonable. So this relative view is good for that. We also have what's called the carousel view. It's the same data, but it just moves it rather than spacing the events relative to the time that they happen. It just gives you kind of this back-to-back look.
Excellent.
Yeah, at them.
We've got a couple of questions here before we get too deep into this. We've got one from Diego and one from Mitch. Diego Alcala asks, what data sources can you use to populate the case? PDF, CVS?
Yeah, so you can, let me go back to my other view here. So you can attach any kind of document to your and add media. So PDFs, JPEGs, medical records. You can attach audio files if you're listening, if you have a voicemail on there. You can even populate video URLs. If you want to link to a video, you can also upload your own video. So if you have a deposition and you want to upload the deposition video to it, you can. So any type of media. And what happens is once as you're going through here, you can see this little box has this paper clip, and this has notes and comments. So this is telling me, oh, there's a documents attached to this one. I click more, and then this media tab now opens. This documents tab telling me, hey, there's 2 documents in there, and I can open it up and see what there is. And then right from inside TrialLine, I can preview this using the limited tools of Adobe. So you're not going to get all of this stuff, but you can go in here and highlight and blow things up and whatnot if you're using it for trial.
And that brings us, I think, to Mitch's question. He asks, during trial, can we click on an item and have a picture or video play, such as, are these interactive at trial?
They are interactive at trial. Yeah. So let's see if there's a video on here. So here's a video. Yeah. So it's all interactive at trial. Just a music video, but
yeah.
Yeah, so that's all available. The other thing is our small firm package allows for, I'll show you here, desktop application. So if you're nervous about the internet, or you're nervous about relying on the internet at trial, or there's just simply not internet at a courthouse, which I can't believe there still isn't, but there isn't, then you can download a version either for Mac or for Windows, and then you can sync all of your work. So all the trial lines that you have online, you can pull them down to your local machine, and vice versa. If you're working on the plane and you don't have internet, you're working on a trial line, you can also upload those updates back to the cloud so that your online version is synced with your offline version.
Excellent. This is excellent. Anything else? Any other questions, folks? If you have any other questions while we're still in the demo, any other comments from you, Travis, while we're in the demo that you think needs to be shown?
Actually, I do have a question. So when you populate this, is it manual that you put it in that time sequence? I don't know if you mentioned that, or can you tag it and then it automatically puts the timestamp, if you will, in it and then populates it? So say, for example, somebody has structured data set.
Mm-hmm.
Can you import that and then
when we roll out that
series of structured data?
Yep, when we roll out that Clio update in a couple of weeks, you'll be able to upload your Excel or CVS files for sure.
Okay, perfect.
So the options here if we're building a new event is you have your title. You can choose a start date and end date. You can also just choose a start month if you're not familiar. And you can also add start times and end times. And this will go down to the second level. So you can have events that are monthly, month and day, month, day, hour, month, day, second. So especially
for those people that have used Palantir, have you used Palantir?
No, I haven't even heard of it.
Take a look at Palantir, see if you can get a demo. Take a look at what they're doing. There may be some applicability, and you might be able to incorporate some of those features in what you're working on that'll apply to law. That's more of an analytic tool that's used one of the first use cases. It's a company that was founded by Peter Thiel.
Okay.
And they do a lot of work with the Intel community, but essentially taking lots and lots of data, structuring it. But some of the tools and features that is in Palantir is definitely, it looks very similar to what you got here in terms of the timeline view.
Gotcha. So yeah, you can go down to the second level. You create your own categories and you can create your own color coding for each category. And then the system learns what you're doing over time. So it's populating your most frequently used combinations. We also allow for Bates page number or exhibit number, and I'll show you when we go to the list view how to use that to find events. And then you've kind of got your what you see is what you got get editor here. So if you can use Word, you can use this. You can build in bullet points, colored content, highlight it, underline it. I haven't really done a very good job in my demo of doing some of that stuff, but this basically has anything that Word has. Provider details, that was some of the stuff that's a little more applicable to personal injury, but you can include providers, whether medical providers, physical therapy providers, any companies that you may have to address charges with. You can put that stuff in here and attach the relevant bills or files. We went over the media section. You can attach everything here. You can also create you can add files from existing TrialLine files. So let's say that you have documents maybe that you use over and over again. They might be fee agreements, they might be stock images, they might be backgrounds. You have both the individual TrialLine file set plus a company file set that you and your team can pull from for things that you use all the time. Going back to one of those questions, what's the thing that people really like about this? It's this notes. It's the ability to share these TrialLines with people just with a link, and then to read what people you share it with put in for notes and comments. So it's really
and that brings us to another question by Mitch, if I would, in this viewpoint. So Mitch asks, can you block out an item on the fly?
Yep.
So if a judge or opposing counsel makes an objection, judge sustains the objection, can you get rid of it?
Yep, you definitely can. So what we have. Actually,
like the hide feature. You know how you do the hide feature of a slide in PowerPoint?
Yeah. So you can hide information a couple of ways. One, when you click this filters here, it shows you all the categories you have. So if you want to do a filter wide hide, you can just come in here and check off the categories you no longer want to see, and it gets rid of all of them there. And then if you need to do an individual event, and kind of like what you were talking about in trial, we do a little bit almost like the opposite of that, where this is what's called the list view. This is the final of the 3 views. This is the view of all of your events here. And you can, again, sort by date and category and whatnot. But if you just kind of want to see it like Excel, but this is where you can hide an individual event. So kind of when you're going to trial, if everything's not stipulated to, or you're concerned about showing stuff, you can come and click basically hide all of these things. And then with this exhibit number, the ability here to sort by exhibit number, as things are admitted, you can click show, and then they start to populate.
Nice.
They start to populate the TrialLine.
Very nice.
Very.
Now
I really love this, your interface here.
Mm-hmm.
This is really smooth.
Yeah, I've tried to make it as intuitive as I can. I mean, I'm a software idiot, so I figure if it could work for me, it can work for everybody. But
so just to recap, again, you can put in text, you can put in pictures, you put in links to video, and those are live in there. Can you go into, and then you can do links to website?
Yep.
Links to, okay, so website basically gets you anything. That'll be live. What about like, I'm going to have to throw something out there that you're going to say no to, hopefully. Or actually, hopefully not, but you probably will. What about like 3D models?
No, we don't do any 3D models.
I had to throw something out to see what the bounds of your capability was.
It just real quick, it's a good question, Ivan, because I'm starting to see more and more 3D models being used. So for like that imaging on August, let's see, scroll over to August 3rd, 2015, MRI of the right knee. I see on the, I see under the attachment link, I see 0. How many attachments can they have under something like that, under that link? Can it be indefinite?
Yeah, as many as you want.
As many as you want.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's the chat? There's a little chat feature there for anybody working on the matter. They can communicate with each other on that timeline.
Yeah. So what I was going to tell you is, let's say what my wife does is she sends these to mediators beforehand, right? She'll send a link to this to the mediator. What you can do is you can save a view. So let's say that she wants to send a link to, let's say she wants to send a link to a doctor. She doesn't want to create bias. So she's going to get rid of anything related to pre-existing condition. She's going to get rid of insurance. And let's just say she's going to get rid of the pre-operative report for whatever reason. So it's eliminated. I've now eliminated all those events. And I just want to get rid of the ambulance one too. I don't want the doctor to see any diagnosis that might have happened here. So now I'm down to these events. So now I want to share this with my expert, right? So I can come over here to share, click share, and I can name this doctor expert view, blah, 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 blah. And now this box right here will allow me to make comments available. So when I email it to the doctor can make notes. I'll show you this. So, and then let's say the doctor's email address is mine. So boom, I've just shared it. And now that doctor is going to get an email. The other thing that happens is if I come over here to views, this views drop down, now you can see that since I created the doctor's expert view, it's also saved it for me so I can refer back to it later. And it's given me another link and another password just in case I need to share it with someone else or the doctor loses it. But so now it's there. It's this view right here. And now let's say that the doctor has gone in, and I'm actually going to have to repopulate things because I don't know if I have.
I'm going to do a quick warning here to say you may not want the expert to make any comments before you talk.
All right. So now let's say that I've shared it with whoever. Let's just, even if it's another lawyer. Now I can look through. I can click this comments button, and it's going to do a poll out for me of all of the events that anyone has left a comment on, and so. It shows me right here that there have been 3 events that someone has made a comment on. And it shows me what the comment is. And I can also in here make my own notes to respond if I just want to remind myself of something. Right here, look at that doctor's.
You got a dog. You got a dog on the show.
Means we might have a pizza.
We'll let the dogs out.
Yeah. I told Travis dogs and animals and children occasionally make an appearance, so we got the dog this time.
Yep, so then I can just go in and I can just leave a note on that event. So here it is. Now it's populated under that event to say, look at the doctor's report. And so this kind of becomes like an ongoing task manager, if you will, where you are able to share your trial lines with other people on your team, and you can assign them permissions. You can say, hey, I want my paralegal just to be able to view my stuff, or I want my paralegal to be able to also edit it. And then as you each are all working on it, you have kind of a running dialogue. The nice thing is when you share these with someone else, it's like, let's say we shared it with the doctor does not see anyone's notes or comments.
Excellent.
The people that you share it with only see information they add into it.
And by his activity tonight, I'm thinking Mitch likes this. He asks now, can you link, just for counsel's reference, legal research to the argument? Sort of like speaker notes where only the attorney can see it. Could he put in his research from case text or something like that and have it only visible to him?
You can, right? So that note section that I made, now I've opened up this event, and this event is showing me now with this new icon that there's a note on it. So yeah, so now he would be able to see this stuff right here, but no one that he shared it with would be able
So if this is on a big screen at the court, he's looking at what he's got there and not sharing that with anybody else?
Yeah, so when you go to court, you're going to use a view called trial view, and that's actually going to get rid of all your notes and comments. It's going to get rid of all your menu options and all that stuff. It's going to get rid of the edit buttons and the shortcut menus, and it's just going to be the information.
Hey, Nick, since Mitch is on with us and he's a very well experienced trial lawyer, let's see if he wants to jump in, because I think he's going to bring in a lot more value to this.
He's in the Facebook group, Ivan. He's not in the. Let's drop the link for him, and if he wants to join.
Yeah, you want to try that? See if he wants to join us, because I think he's going to ask more higher level questions.
I would just add if his
we have experience in.
Like if this would actually link and sync with Westlaw. If that's the question, then
no, I don't think that's the question. Seems that just notes. So when he gets to a specific point in the case, if he wants to be reminded of a particular issue.
Yeah, and then the other thing, while you're waiting on him, you can also export this stuff a number of ways. In carousel view, you can hit print screen right here, and this is going to create a high definition PNG file so that you could actually blow this up and put it on poster board if you still wanted to. And again, when you do that, it gets rid of all this menu stuff.
So when did you launch the beta of this, like the initial version? Was that the 2017 that you're referring to?
This was available 2017, correct? Yeah. Everything.
So you were in stealth mode for almost 2 years.
Correct.
Building this thing entirely out before really launching.
But it really shows, in my mind, the way I'm looking at this right now, that it feels like I could go into TrialLine, and I'm not doing this just to boost up, a guest, which we'll often do anyway. But it feels like I could go in here and I could really easily find my way around and figure out what I'm doing. The user experience feels like it's real smooth. Our user interface feels real smooth.
Yeah, we just tried to put everything right where you need it, not hide much.
This is definitely way past MVP. Way past.
Which leads us into, unless Mitch, if Mitch joins, which he's welcome to join, but there's no requirement, Mitch, if you're doing family stuff. But if you're available, jump in, ask a couple of questions. But while we're waiting for Mitch, let's hand the controls back to me, unless there's one other thing.
You can export it also as a Word document or an Excel document. So if you do want to have a paper copy that you can 3-hole punch that just gives you a text synopsis back and forth, you can do that too. But yeah, here, I'll turn it back over to you.
Turn it back over to me, and then Ivan, let's get to the finance.
All right. So yeah, this is a great demo. Definitely appealing aesthetically and very well organized. So finance, you said you bootstrapped this. Are you still bootstrapping this?
Still I am, yep.
So 100% owned by you?
Correct.
And how big is the team?
The TrialLine team?
Yeah.
The TrialLine team is probably 5, but there's a bit of overlap between our Lawfather business and our TrialLine business. But I'd say
contracting most of that,
just
most
dedicated
of the
time.
IT or the
We
developers out.
Yep. We have a team that we put together, but they're a contract team. Yeah.
And then what are you looking at in terms of clients? Have you developed a pretty good client base at this point?
Yeah, like I said, we haven't done any advertising. Like our first real coming out party was we won this little ABA Tech Show Startup Alley Award. And
what year?
This
Last
year.
This
That
year.
was this year. Okay.
Yeah, 2019. So 2018, like I said, we launched our enterprise version, but we didn't advertise. We just continue to let our friends use it and stuff. But yeah, starting January 2019, we started doing press releases and looking to where we could get some exposure and whatnot. And we got that award for top 15 startups. So we went to ABA Tech Show in Chicago in February. And that was the first time that we had a real public presentation on TrialLine and actually had, people lining up to talk to us and had an exhibitor booth and whatnot. And that has been a massive catalyst for
massive positive response, right?
Oh yeah, massive positive response. We have pictures. We were like one of the few booths that had a line. I mean, it was really gratifying that
it's validation.
Right? Yeah.
All that work that no one even knew about is now paying off, right?
Exactly.
And we got another question here from Diego. Diego is in criminal practice, but in criminal defense, in his practice, he usually has one defendant in a 50-plus conspiracy case. If he wanted to share with the other 49 attorneys, can that be done?
Yeah, it could. Well, I guess let me ask is if he's referencing, can he share with the other 49 attorneys so that they could all collaborate on the TrialLine? He could do that. He would need to have an enterprise license and he would have to have 49 users. If he's asking, can I just share it with 49 people? You can share it with as many people as you want. You can take that view that we shared and you can continue to copy and paste a link to those folks and provide them a password if you want to. Sure. There's unlimited sharing. The people that you share with can't work on it, right? Only
unless they have a user license.
Have a user license, correct.
Okay. Let me know if that answers that for you, Diego.
Got it.
So tell us about the subscription model.
Yes.
So we have 3 levels.
Well, actually, one question before that.
Yeah.
A technical question before that is, so this is all saved in the cloud, right?
Correct.
Cloud storage?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you're using, what was the back end on it?
Where are the files saved?
Yeah.
They're on Amazon's S3 server. Yeah. Okay. So it's all HIPAA compliant.
And then are you guys able to see that data?
Are we able to see the data?
Right.
We can see it if you give us permission. Like, I mean, if we go into your account, and you share with our tech team and you say, yeah, you can go in there and see that, then we could see it. But we couldn't access it without accessing your account, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So I can't just go into that Amazon server and start pulling people's medical records.
Okay. Or attorney-client privileged information.
I'm just thinking if it's like a massive case that you want to keep very close hold and you're on your platform, what's the susceptibility or the risk of disclosure or leakage?
Yeah, so it's the same exposure that Amazon would have because we're relying on their security.
Okay, it's completely on them.
It's completely on them. Yeah, so I mean, obviously they're invested in not having that happen.
Yeah. Okay.
We only see your data through a proxy relationship, if that makes sense. So it's just like a WebEx or Share My PC or something.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so this is great.
So
what's the pricing model? It's probably expensive because it's pretty good.
Boy, well, do I have good news for you? Maybe it's not as expensive as it should be. I don't have a Ferrari yet, but no, it's pretty inexpensive. We have three tiers. So a basic subscription is $9.99 a month for the online only version, plus 1 free case, and then we charge on a per case basis. So every new case that you open after your free one is also $9.99 a month. So the reason we do that is to protect our storage costs, but it's still very inexpensive. And then we have what's called a small firm package. That's $199 a year for 5 licenses for the online and offline version. And then your case fee there drops to $7.49 per case. And then we have a large firm version, which is $499 a year, and that gives you up to 20 users, and your case fee is also reduced to $7.49 per case. And then we do have some users with bigger enterprise packages after that, and generally we quote those independently, just kind of based on how many users you need and what you think your storage is going to be. Because this has kind of ended up being the digital document storage solution for a lot of our clients. So and that was kind of unexpected as well. So we're really careful on that to figure out how much stuff you're going to throw up there on the server, but we're happy to take it all. Yeah, we have some built-in scalability too that allows you just to auto bump up at a terabyte of data. So if you need more, it's not a problem.
Excellent. Yeah. So this, TrialLine was a little bit older than our regular guest, as far as we do, the 12 to 18 months with a minimally viable product. But Travis was really good when we were messaging back and forth. At first, I understood it to be a case. There was some evidence that it was practice management. Mm-hmm. And I said, we haven't really touched on practice management recently because it's a crowded field. Yep. And he really spelled it out a little bit more for me. And then I went over and took a look at the demo video, looking smooth. And it really is not a tool that we've had on the show before. Right. And which is why I kind of broke our regular rule of the timelines that we want early stage.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you any demerits for this one.
Boy. Hey, at least you're here though.
Yeah, I think like going back to what Ivan said, when you guys were talking about having an MVP and whatnot. I mean, the truth is, like, I was so guilty of not doing that. I was like one of those guys. I'd never done software before, and I was like nervous as hell about doing it. And people were telling me, "Hey, you just got to get something out there and get it tested."
Yeah, you launched way too late.
Yeah, I know. And like, everyone's like, "Don't let perfection visit." They say, "Don't let perfection way of progress," or something like that. And so I was definitely guilty of being that guy that let it go probably too far, for sure.
Yeah, but it came with a pretty refined product, which is nice. Diego looks like he has one more question. I don't want to keep you all night, Travis, but Diego said he did want to know, is that for every new case per month when we were talking about the $749, $999, those prices, or is it per active case per month?
It's per active case per month. Yeah. So and so you can choose to delete your case, or you can archive it too for 99 cents a month. So you can, rather than delete it, you can go over there and select the archive option, and then you can just have it there for when if you want to pull it up later or need it later. So
that bill just doesn't keep getting exponentially greater, I think is what his is getting at.
I think on average our clients have a TrialLine for about 9 months. And one other feature that we have in there is they invoice on a case-by-case basis. So what my wife can do is when the case resolves, she can take the 8-month TrialLine invoice for $72 or whatever it is and just submit it as a cost to the client and just recover the TrialLine price from the proceeds of the case.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because it is a cost. And then what, she archives it for her. There's just
they have to keep all the case files for 5 years, so she just puts it on 99 cents. And if it's cheaper than Iron Mountain, and you don't have to call somebody to get you a box out of storage, she can just reactivate it. If she needs to get a depo video or a transcript down the road, she can just pull it out of her TrialLine and then shut it back down.
Excellent. Yep. So what's our growth strategy?
This right now, like I said, being bootstrapped, we our next big move was that Clio API. So I'm hoping that through the introduction of TrialLine to current Clio users, that we'll get a bigger user base there. I'm submitting to tech shows and whatnot to come speak and do demos. Writing content about just storytelling in general and how to use TrialLine, and then we just started doing our own PPC just over the last 4 weeks, and so we'll just kind of start building that up as well.
So at
Excellent.
this point, it doesn't. You're not going to take any capital at this point, right? You're just going to scale on your own.
You know, I would be open to a partnership if it was going to be like a rapid growth strategy. I think, you know, like if we could partner with a company that already had a huge attorney user base that they thought was going to be able to assimilate TrialLine easily, I would definitely be open to that. But in the meantime, no, I'm just technically focused on continuing to be the best timeline program out there and not letting anyone get close and letting this kind of word of mouth thing go for a little bit. Yeah.
No, I think you're right. I mean, I think that's the right move.
Yeah.
You know, it almost seems like Diego's reading my mind, because Diego in the chat says contact information, and it's about that time, isn't it?
All right.
So how does he get in touch with you?
Yeah, trialline.net, that's our website. And then I can personally be reached at travis@lawfather.com. You know, feel free to shoot me an email. Like I tell Diego and all the other attorneys, like, it's not done. Like, we get our best feedback from our customers who will continue to give us these little feature improvements and additions. And we're kind of at this level where obviously you can still get in touch with the owner, and I'm happy and excited to get feedback. So trialline.net or travis@lawfather.com.
Excellent. And they do have Travis Luther on Twitter and TrialLine on Twitter, correct?
Yep.
I know Diego and Mitch and a lot of these folks who are in the group are Twitter users, power users. So you can probably touch base with him there as well. Travis, any last thoughts before we wrap up for the evening?
No, I just really appreciate you guys having me, and I love the format, and thanks for squeaking me in. I know I broke some rules, but I really appreciate it.
This is great. Actually, this was a really good one. This is a very interesting product.
Yeah, great product. Yeah, so our guest tonight has been Travis Luther of TrialLine. You can find them at trialline.net. This has been episode 54 of Legal Tech Live, and you can check the replay on Tuesday, unless you're in the legal tech community. I'm Nick Rishwain.
And I'm Ivan Rakelin.
Thanks so much, Travis. Don't disappear on the recording.
Thanks, Travis. This was good.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Travis, I'm not sure I have the...
You got to turn off Facebook Live.
I'm not in control. Travis may still be in control.
Oh,
am I?
So if you hover over me, you want to make me host. If you hover over me, the little ellipses on my picture, and it should see drop down.
There you go. I'm going to bounce, guys.
All right, Ivan, thanks.
See you guys.
See you, Ivan.